CeeDee Lamb got real with Cowboys fans ahead of the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about whatever is going on Rex Ryan's head with his comments on Super Bowl game day 2. And of course, we'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl itself. 15 last minute thoughts before Chiefs 49ers kick it off later on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Here we go. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Primetime. I am your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday through Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. Today is an exception because the Super Bowl is being played. So instead of bothering you in the middle of the Super Bowl, I thought, why not have the show before? And that way we can talk a little bit about the big game, but we'll also talk about some Cowboys football because otherwise it wouldn't be ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and do that. We'll talk about the Super Bowl. I'll hit you with 15 last-minute Super Bowl thoughts. But first, CeeDee Lamb, man. CeeDee Lamb was on Micah Parsons' podcast, The Edge. And boy, there's a lot of content that is worth discussing out of that podcast. Hey, credit where credit is due. I know some people are not a fan of Micah Parsons hosting a podcast, but they've given us some stuff to talk about. CeeDee Lamb as a guest on there. And so, also Jordan Love, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, also had a little bit of a moment on the show that I was like, oh man, that just adds insult to injury for the Cowboys playoff loss to the Green Bay. But let's get it started, man. Let's talk about CeeDee keeping it real with Dallas. I felt like he had a strong admission to make on the show. And I know CeeDee Lamb upset Cowboys fans with the way that he showed his attitude versus the Green Bay Packers, right? We've talked about that a lot since it happened. A lot of people were upset at CeeDee basically checking out early in the game, or at least seemingly doing so, about his body language on the sidelines, and about the fact that when Jair Alexander pushed him in the back after the whistle was blown, he didn't fight back. So a lot has been made about that, and CeeDee made some comments that I think speak to that directly. So let's take a listen to what he said, and then we'll discuss it a little bit, and then I'll say hi to the chat, as always, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. CeeDee on Micah Parsons' podcast, The Edge.
So what do we do? Like, I think the people really want to hear, what do me and you have to do to help? Like, if we talk about we want to be the highest paid guys, we want to be the future of this team, absolutely, we want to be the face of this franchise, I feel like I know what I have to do. What do you feel like you have to do coming into this offseason, understanding the contract situation and how things need to be dealt with? And we already hit that, but what do you feel like you need to do to uplift the receivers around you? Or like,
absolutely,
what do you feel like you have to do to help lead this corps, you and Dak, to take us to the promised land?
First and foremost, I do got to grow up. There's plenty of ways of me handling different situations. Me being mad is not one of the answers. You know what I'm saying? And I know this.
So times throughout the year, you get frustrated, people feeling your energy, frustration, absolutely, and just carrying it on.
I just feel like that's contagious. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Instead of just be like,
I could be more of a leader. You know what I'm saying? I could be more vocal, even though I know that's not me. But understanding the situation, bro. If I'm gonna take this label of being one, I take full accountability, bro. If I want to take this label of being one, I can't. It's times where I got to get out my shell. You know what I'm saying? My comfort zone.
And you got to rally the offense.
You feel me? And
Dak, find me.
Like, Dak, come on. Or, Dak, I'm not open on this. You got B Cooks on whatever. Or you got MG on this. I could do this and do. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of ways of doing
feedback.
It.
Instead of just getting angry,
down, and getting quiet, and then nobody have answers. And now we look defeated on the sideline.
It's an interesting situation there for CeeDee. He's not a rookie. He's not a second-year player either. 2024 will be his 5th year in the NFL. And I'm very aware that this is not going to fix the heart of broken-hearted Cowboys fans around the world, right? Because the game already happened, and we already know that no matter what goes on the regular season in 2024, it will all be about the playoffs. So we're in for a long year, and CeeDee sending that message helps nobody in that sense. But also, I think it's pretty intriguing what he says about, I'm not vocal. It's not who he is, but maybe him trying to get out of that comfort zone and rise as a leader within the locker room. Because in a way, he was a leader, right? I don't think you can get to that level of play without your teammates looking up to you. But maybe CeeDee can take a little bit more of an active role in that leadership. And I don't know how that looks next year or next season. I don't know if it will console Cowboys fans, but still a pretty telling statement right there from CeeDee, basically confirming what we thought when watching that game. I think a lot of the times the body language stuff can be overblown by fans and by media, where you are basically just thinking about, he looked upset, so he wasn't firing up the teammates. But CeeDee himself is telling us now that, hey, in fact, that was not going on. Like, I wasn't doing any of that. So, hey, hope he grows from it. Hope he learns from it. And hopefully it shows up in an improved version of CeeDee in 2025. Now, just wanted to bring that up before we got to the Super Bowl content and all that. But there's more Super Bowl content that we will get to. And we'll get to what Jordan Love said about that game, including a moment where he is confused even by what the Cowboys were doing on defense. Let me say hi, though, in the chat very quickly. Shout out to Mr. Jameson Taylor. Thank you for being here, as always, man. And, hey, positive vibes and positive thoughts headed your way here from my end of things. Hope you're doing okay, buddy. Gregory, shout out to you, sir. We've got Travis in the chat as well. Daniel here checking in, too. We've got William dropping a Super Bowl prediction. He's got the Chiefs winning 24-20. Gregory has 28-24. Drop your predictions, man, and I'll be reading them throughout the show, especially when we get to the end of the show. But now, Jordan Love, man. Jordan Love added insult to injury. He took some salt and rubbed it in our wounds by looking confused even with what the Cowboys were doing on defense, man. I'll let you listen to it. Just a short clip here from Micah Parsons asking Jordan Love, what was it like basically being on the other side of things? Let's take a listen.
I picked on, show us how your growth, how you dissected the game, what you thought we were in. Obviously made some great plays extending with your legs, but just dive into what was your strategy, philosophy of how to, break down our defense.
Yeah, man, I think the key for us going into the game was we needed to run the ball. Like, that was a huge thing. Obviously, we played y'all the year before, and I felt like we ran the ball pretty well. So just going against y'all, I'm not trying to talk, but y'all linebackers, I think y'all had a DB playing linebacker. I don't know, but like, that was our goal, was to be able to run the ball, and it was going to set everything else up. And obviously, I think y'all biggest weapon is y'all pass rush. And so great DBs over there too, but I feel like they rely on the pass rush, you know what I mean? When you got a great pass rush, you thinking the quarterback going to get the ball out of his hands quick. And so we were able to, take advantage of that by, getting some chips on you, slow you down a little bit. D. Lawrence, slow him down a little bit. But, man, I knew I was going to have to hang in that pocket, take a couple hits from you, take a couple hits from those guys. The guys we had at receiver, man, I was confident that they were going to go out there and do what they needed to do against y'all DBs, sure. Man. But.
Man, you gotta feel something, maybe rage, whatever, sadness, whatever. When Jordan Love is like, I think he had a DB playing linebacker. Like, he's still confused by it weeks later, almost a full month after the fact. But yeah, man, Jordan Love. Interesting that he mentions the running game before anything else. That was clearly the game plan for the Packers. And I find it interesting because you'll go back and you look at what happened in that first half of the game, and mostly they were killing us through the air. They were killing Cowboys through the air more than through the ground. Second half, the Packers were just able to keep on running, and the defense never was able to give the offense another chance, basically, at the game. But early on, it was more about the receivers than anything else. So definitely a good point there from Jordan Love when he brings up the playmakers that they've got over there in the Packers. I know that we're obviously talking about it from a Cowboys point of view, but they've got some dudes at wide receiver and, of course, at the tight end after drafting two of them in 2023. So, yeah, man, Jordan Love just basically highlighting what is going to be one of the major talking points now that the Cowboys have a new defensive coordinator on the way. What are you going to do at linebacker? And this goes for both the coach, but mostly also for the front office. Who are you bringing in? Because it's not going to be Marquise Bell at safety in 2024, at linebacker, in 2024. You're going to have more traditional types, in my opinion, over there at linebacker. Which kind? Like, are you going to go get the biggest free agent at the position, Patrick Quinn? Are you going to get Jordan Brooks? Are you going to get maybe Frank Lubu, who I've mentioned has been used in pass rushing situations, so it would be interesting to see him maybe fulfill an Anthony Barr type role with Mike Zimmer, where you saw him rushing the passer but playing off-ball linebacker as well. Frank Lubu, second most pressures in the last couple of seasons in the NFL, so could be a strong option for Dallas. It will start there, but then it also will unfold into other aspects, like, is Mazi Smith getting his weight back on, and is he going to look like a more traditional nose tackle in 2024 instead of a nose tackle turned 3 technique, which was basically what happened in Dallas during his rookie season. So we'll see what goes down there when the Cowboys have a new defensive coordinator in place. Obviously, Mike Zimmer right now is set to be exactly that. A lot of insiders have reported on it. It's happening. It's going to be Mike Zimmer. But according to Rex Ryan, it's not a done deal. Now, to that I say, Cap, right? Rex Ryan is probably in just his denial phase. But this clip from Super Bowl morning has made the rounds on social media and has some fans thinking, man, is something going to happen here? Or are we going to be thrown a curveball? What is going to happen? Let me play you the clip from Rex Ryan. We're doing a Sounds from the Super Bowl type show. And I'm going to let you listen to Rex Ryan here, and then we'll get to the Super Bowl thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the chaos.
In this past week, the Dallas Cowboys went ahead and hired Mike Zimmer as their defensive coordinator. He rejoins the Dallas Cowboys after serving in Dallas as their prior defensive coordinator from 2000 to 2006 before becoming the Vikings head coach later on. Obviously, they talked to a wide number of candidates like our own Rex Ryan, and I can tell you this, they loved Rex. They were highly impressed with Rex. Rex made quite a mark on the Jones family, and I'm a little surprised they didn't hire him with as much as they loved him, but we're quite happy that they did, and we're happy to have him here, and this will be a big year for the Dallas Cowboys without him. Mike McCarthy on the last year of his contract, so Rex has got security here. He doesn't have to worry about a head coach on this set being in the last year of his deal.
I just keep getting offended because everyone tries to take you away from us, okay?
Nobody does.
It's hard. We love having you here.
Hey, I know we a fight, don't you? Oh, hey, no question. Okay. And I can honestly say right here, first off, I'm not so sure that Zimmer's got that job right now. Not real sure about that. I can honestly say I don't believe that's a fact right now. But I will say this. The reason I was so like this is I've been out for 7 years. I've never called another head coach or anything like that. I called Mike McCarthy. And the reason I did is because I want to be on this stage. I want to be back on this stage if I'm going to get back into coaching, have a chance at that. I think with this roster the way it is, I think offensively, special teams, and defense, and I figured I could make maybe even a little bit of an upgrade, that they could be right here. That's why I was interested. I don't, it's funny how, well, should we get the, no, your team has no chance at me, okay? That's generally the case. I would only go at the right situation. And if it's not completely right, then I'm not going. But this team, it is interesting because they are so close to getting over that edge, and that's why I think people would be interested in this job.
Well, the close.
Listen, you never know, right? Everything could happen. Everything could happen. It could make for a wild story, right? Josh McDaniels once agreed to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts before turning them down at the last moment and heading back to New England. We saw something similar with Cliff Kingsbury, right? It was reported this offseason that he was going to be offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders before he turned them down because of a contractual hang-up. And then he ended up with Dan Quinn in the Washington Commanders. So it has happened before. It has happened even with players. Randy Gregory, do you remember how that went down with the Cowboys specifically? So I'm not saying that there's nothing to worry about, but also I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it. We've had Adam Schefter from ESPN reported. We've had Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and then local media like, for example, ESPN's Todd Archer, right, who covers the Cowboys specifically. That's what I mean by local, obviously working for media juggernaut ESPN. So what I mean here is you've got so many insiders reporting on it that it's done, or that it's 99.99999% done. And you have Jerry Jones saying that it isn't done in the NFL honors, but also it happening over Super Bowl week. And then the fact that from a week ago, it seemed clear that many people thought that, hey, it's going to be Zimmer anyways. And, you know, even before those reports came in, like, Zimmer was the favorite for a good while because of what a lot of people were whispering. So it seems to me that it's more likely than not that Rex Ryan is basically in denial right there, or just wanting to add some drama to the conversation. But Cowboys fans should still expect Mike Zimmer to be their defensive coordinator, the way that I see it. And keep in mind that he was still basically trying to pitch the Cowboys, in my opinion, from that segment that we just saw. Like, he's still making that argument for him to be the defensive coordinator of Dallas. I thought it was an intriguing clip. I mean, I'll keep it real. It was something that made my, eyebrows rise a little bit. However, I'm not gonna buy into what he's saying. I fully expect Mike Zimmer to still be the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't believe that Rex Ryan saying that live on TV after Schefter gives us a segment that, hey, it's gonna be Zimmer. I think that I'm going to trust the insiders on this one, even if Rex Ryan talked directly to the team. Ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, I'm going to read some comments here, and then we're going to get to the Super Bowl preview. 15 last-minute Super Bowl thoughts that I have in store for you, and I'm going to go through them very quickly. Just going to get you ready for the Super Bowl if you have been busy with your everyday life and maybe you want to be a little bit more ready to go for kickoff. I'm gonna try to help you out with that. That's gonna be my mission in a little bit here. Michael says Rex is a true alpha. Won't let a perceived this slide. Won't let a perceived this slide, says Michael H. Jerry and Stephen looking for a great value contract deal with Sim, which might be what's going down, right? Maybe some maneuvering there, but probably this is already a done deal. Pesky Citizen says Rex is a clown. He's been saying crazy shit on TV. I'm not forgetting he might have toned it down this year because he was trying for a job. He is a clown, says Pesky Citizen. Shout out to Gregory, who asked how and why did you become a Cowboys fan? Listen, man, it's a story that is not very exciting. I'm from Mexico, and once I was in love with the Cincinnati Bengals helmets because, it's a Bengal, right? It's exciting for a little kid. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to root for the Bengals. And later on, I couldn't get anything to represent my fandom for the Bengals. And my dad, rest in peace, he said to me, if you want to get something for your team, you better root for the Cowboys. Plus, my mom is a Cowboys fan. And that's basically how it went down. But it happened when I was very young, before middle school, I guess. So kindergarten, probably. Basically, since I remember, I've been talking and thinking Cowboys football. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the Super Bowl. 15 last-minute thoughts. And I'm going to hit you with this. It's an article that I put together for ADC Sports. And I'm going to talk to you about those 15 thoughts. Number one, and this is the big one. This is the big one that has not escaped my mind all of these 2 weeks since we know the two teams that are going to fight for the Lombardi Trophy. I've been thinking about this every morning. First thought that pops into my head. And also, last thought every day before I go to bed. This is the matchup that I believe will actually define the Super Bowl. It's not Mahomes Purdy. It's not Kelce versus Fred Warner. Not Nick Bosa versus the Chiefs offensive line. Nor Chris Jones versus the 49ers. The matchup that will define Super Bowl 58 in my mind is Kyle Shanahan versus Steve Spagnuolo. Listen, this game, man, the 49ers want to get in condensed formations. They want to keep everything tight, and they want to run wide zone, right? They want to run to the outside consistently. That's all good and well because it works for them. However, you know what the Chiefs want? They want you to play those sorts of formations because they want to blitz the cornerbacks. And if you're playing a condensed formation, the cornerback is closer to the line of scrimmage and is able to hide a little bit better to go after the QB. No one has blitzed a cornerback at a higher rate than Steve Spagnuolo this year. That is going to be a huge matchup. It's only an aspect of Shanahan versus Steve versus Spags, but these coaches are X's and O's geniuses. Cannot wait to see that take place today in a few moments here as we get closer and closer to Super Bowl time. Now, let me hit you with 14 more thoughts, though, on this game. That was a big one. 14 more thoughts. One of Purdy's biggest and most unexpected strengths has been his poise in the pocket. And he finished with the 4th lowest pressure to sack percentage in the league. He can extend plays, but can he do it against such an aggressive and blitz-happy defense? Now, thought number 2. Speaking of such stat, no one is better at it than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes allows a sack in only 10% of the plays in which he is pressured. That means you can pressure Patrick Mahomes 10 times. You're only bringing him down 1 time. So that will matter on this game. Thought number 3. When the Baltimore Ravens beat the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football back in Christmas, the first read was consistently taken away from Brock Purdy, who threw 4 interceptions on that game. Physical cornerbacks are the Chiefs' thing, right? They want to play physical at the line of scrimmage. Kansas City will try to do the same as the Baltimore Ravens. Can they execute and maybe rattle Brock Purdy? Thought number 4. I love to talk about quarterbacks just as much as you do, but in this game, both offenses want to run the ball. The Niners and the Chiefs have struggled mightily against the run, especially in the postseason. So I want to see these two teams running to the sidelines. Outside zone for the Niners, but mostly for the Chiefs. A little bit more of a pulling lineman type of game where they're making the most out of a one gap defense like the San Francisco 49ers. Now, speaking of the sidelines, thought number 5 is here. The Chiefs will also want to attack the sidelines when they're throwing the ball. San Francisco keeps things pretty static. They play cover 3, a lot of zone coverage, and they don't disguise a whole lot. The Chiefs know this, and they will try to attack those zones on the outside. They will run a lot of flood concepts where they've got 3 guys running at different levels vertically, stretching the field horizontally and vertically. So look for the Chiefs to make a lot of sideline type throws. Thought number 6, Nick Bosa will have to earn the right to play on Sunday. What I mean by that is Andy Reid is going to have a long sheet of plays where he is going to be trying to eliminate Nick Bosa from this game, whether that is by rollouts, by running away from him, by whatever it is. Nick Bosa is going to be put in a blender. To avoid that, Nick Bosa has to move around in this game. The mismatch right there might be Bosa versus Jawan Taylor, but Andy Reid is going to take care of that schematically. So I think the Niners will have to move him around. Thought number 7. A lot will be made about Travis Kelce. He's obviously a playoff legend, but I think Rashee Rice is going to have a big, big day. As I said, the Niners love to play zone coverage. Rashee Rice had the highest EPA per target among every player with at least 50 targets this season versus zone coverage. So look for a big day for Rashee Rice. I've got the over on his catches, 7. I need 7 to cash it in. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, Fred Warner. Man, I just want to see Fred Warner play against Travis Kelce. He's not going to follow him around or anything like that, but watching Warner match up versus Travis Kelce is going to be epic. He might be a linebacker, but sometimes he looks like a safety out there with the size of a linebacker. Want to watch that matchup so bad. For fun, I'm going to add this. Kelsey went 4 for 4 versus Kyle Hamilton, which was the last matchup I was dying to see. So we'll see how this one plays out. Speaking of the Niners defense, I do wonder if they change it up dramatically. This is thought number 9, by the way. They don't do a whole lot of fancy stuff. As I said, most static defense in the league. They are static in 82% of their plays, according to Cody Alexander. That means blitzing, disguising coverages, stunt rates, they're all pretty low for San Francisco. Most static defense in the league. Do you change that up against Mahomes, or do you keep it static? Because I think that could be a recipe for disaster. Point number 10. This is one of my favorite ones. Purdy has been great at pushing the ball downfield this season. He is first in the NFL in Pro Football Focus passing grade when throwing the ball 20 yards downfield or more. Just for context, Mahomes is 29th. Now, don't make too much out of that, right? Context is key. Brock Purdy is throwing to a great array of weapons, while Patrick Mahomes is working with much less talent-wise at the receiving core. But that speaks volumes about what Purdy has been able to do for San Francisco. People like to take all sorts of credit away from Brock Purdy. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to call him a lid. But man, he's been able to push the ball downfield because he's willing to take those type of shots. Now, thought number 11 now, because that was number 10. This is thought number 11. I talked about the Chiefs blitzing, but I haven't talked about this. When they do blitz, instead of playing single high coverage behind it like most NFL teams, they run cover 2. That is difficult to do, right? Because it means you're vacating another zone underneath, but you're also leaving the middle of the field open. Well, Brock Purdy not only is great at pushing the ball downfield, he is great specifically over the middle of the field. 9 big-time throws in that area, deep center. The majority of his big-time throws have happened in that area of the field. Something to watch. Thought number 12. And this is actually 13. Thought number 13, because the big thought I didn't include in the count. So I'm just going to cheat here, and I'm going to say thought number 13 out of 15. Red zone concepts will be wild today. Shanahan and Reed going at it in the red zone. Man, they don't have anything to save until next season. They're going all in. It's going to be fun to watch. Red zone concepts, man. It's just, that's the thought. I'm just excited about red zone football today. Thought number 14. Speaking of creativity, Andy Reid last year ran the Lombardi sweep from the T formation. I went crazy when I saw that. I was like, my football nerd was dying inside. I'm dying to see what he has in store for us on this one. There are always some wild formations and concepts from all eras on his game plans, and I think we will see something special today. And number 15, this is my final Super Bowl thought, and then I'll hit you with a prediction as well. I'm imploring you. This is a direct quest from me to you. I'm imploring you. If you're going to watch it with people, if you're going to go to his family party, if you're going to watch it with your friends, if you want to watch it with your significant other, whatever, even if you're watching it by yourself, just don't be that guy. Just don't be that guy taking shots at Taylor Swift. She didn't do anything, man. She's making it to the stadium to watch her boyfriend play. Just you enjoy the game and let others enjoy Taylor Swift being at the stadium. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt anybody, man. Just shh. We know. Right? Don't be that guy. That's all I have to say about that. Ladies and gentlemen, my prediction is Chiefs 24, 49ers 21. I think it's going to be such a close game. I don't believe I've been this excited about a Super Bowl in years. I don't remember feeling this excited about one just because of all of the X's and O's behind the game, right? Because I love Steve Spagnuolo, man. I cannot wait to see what happens with those formations. Do the Niners shift away from what they usually do? I just think it's going to be a fun football game, and I'm excited about it. Let's see some of your comments here. Michael says, you have to control Debo first. The Niners are very average if you keep Debo in check. jet sweeps, and running back runs. And what I love about that is that it's true, definitely, what Michael is saying. But you want to play, press coverage, maybe like if you're the Chiefs, because that's what they do. They like to get physical up front. But Debo is also a pretty physical guy. So it's going to be a fun matchup to see, right? We've got Ron Dedon Smith. He says 27 Chiefs, 20 for the Niners. TC915 says, do me a favor and hit the like button for our guy, Mo. Hey, TC, appreciate you, man. And appreciate you hitting the like button for me. Gregory says, who is the halftime show going to be? It's Usher, right? Sure to get down. So come get me. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I haven't been excited for a Super Bowl since 1995. Damn, TC. Damn. Didn't have to make it about that, I guess. All right, guys. Super Bowl starts in half an hour. Hope you enjoy. I'll let you get to it. Let you go watch the previews, the commercials, all of it. Enjoy the game, and I'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. Thank you so much, guys. As always, hit the like button for me. Bye-bye.